I'm going to try this again. I don't think I got my ideas out right the first time. So we're doing this again. This is an exercise in radical transparency. I am exposing something that morally, as far as I understand my ethics to function, I don't see myself as having an obligation to do this. I do it out of a sense of honesty, a desire to not lie by omission. Right? Not because I have to, but because I don't want to. I don't want to lie. I don't want to deceive. I don't want my lack of communication to create wrong ideas in the minds of people who may not have immediate direct access to what I'm doing, to what we're doing. Right? So this is an effort in radical transparency. I want you all to see how this happened. That I was committed the whole way. And I want to take this as a moment to share a perspective that I hope other people have, and that I hope that we can make more common, right? Because unfortunately, as much as myself and Control Pew, we tried, you know, It all comes back. All roads lead to Rome. All of them do. So if this is our lot as a community, and I think that it is, I think that this is the reality that we're facing. I think that this is the status quo that we are building. You know, every one of us in our own ways. You know, I'm not here to claim I'm some fucking rock star, because I'm not. I'm doing what I can with what I have. There are many of you out there who are doing the same. And there are some fucking rock stars among you. And I love you to death, because you're great people. I have met many of you personally. And despite any differences that we have had, I love you all as human beings, right? As fellow members of this community that I have been wrapped into, and I was accepted in and welcomed into with open arms. You know? So, the key here, guys, is we have to have each other's back. The infighting has to stop. And I don't mean like we have to finally kill the thing that we're fighting. You know? I am bothered so much. I genuinely am. And this is not to decry any of the individuals that I have spoken to about the subject, because it's not them. I viscerally dislike how much the current legal situation between the two parties in this major conflict that we're seeing right now. I really despise how much of that I have to talk about with people. How often it comes up. And how, like, seemingly ever present it is. I despise it. It's a terrible feeling to know that we're going into doing this awesome work, you know, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the people who have responded, right? I mean, it means the world. It means the world. It really does. That you guys are willing to stake yourselves, your names, your brands, your work within this community. That you're willing to put it on the line. Not just for me, not just for this work that we're doing, not just for Reason, but for the community. It does mean the world. It really does. But in the process of all of this, right, the elephant must be acknowledged, unfortunately. We have to have each other's backs. The one thing that unites all of us is that we are in staunch opposition to the oppression and the tyranny effectuated and promoted and expanded under the state. It's the one thing we all agree on. That firearm ownership is a human right. That we all get it. And that it is all to defend ourselves from that state. To maintain that balance of power. To maintain the balance on our relationship as a constituency to that state. And the proliferation of firearms through this new 3D printing technology is, in my eyes, the end of an era. The democratization of the common defense has been achieved. And now we have to fucking spread it everywhere. That is more important than anything else that you're doing. It's more important than the Twitter spats. I just unblocked a dude. As a matter of fact, someone reposted, you know, the space or the questionnaire, and was like, "Man, I would have loved to do this, but this guy's got me blocked." You can see it. It's right there in the mentions. I unblocked him on the spot. I don't care. Any personal beef you and I have had, and I mean you in the personal sense of that person specifically, but also in you as the person listening to this. If I have ever had a personal spat with you, that shit's over. It's dead now. I don't give a shit about it. This is more important. Working together towards this common goal that you and I have is more important. Call me, text me, email me. It's more important. And if anybody wants proof that I will actually do this on purely empathetic grounds, go ask P80 Ralph. Go ask P80 Ralph. My empathy, my love for this community is more important to me than being right about anything. Because I'm right about this, and this is the only thing that matters. Our community, our shared struggle against the powers that be. I don't care about egos. I don't care about politics. In terms of like the social stuff, the within the community, politics within the community, obviously, like outwardly politically, yes, right? I don't care about sectional bullshit. I just don't. I hung up. I can't talk. I hung out with guys from Aussie. I'm now working with people with the catalog. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I wrote for Out of Battery. I wrote for 3D Gun Builder. None of it matters. The groups, the affiliations, the alliances. This is what the monster does, dude. We don't have to do that shit. We can be different. We can show people that things can be different, that things do not have to be sectional, that it doesn't have to be us versus us, you know? And I want to be transparent about that. Radical transparency, once again. Not just of intentions, not just of the work we're doing, right? But where my ethics stand. You want to project this into a future conflict? You know what my answer will be. The community comes first. And the community is not served by lawsuits. The community is not served by Twitter spats, by calling people names. I said it in my piece, The Axe That Split Guncat, and I will reiterate it. To fight a wildfire through insistence on the moral culpability of the arsonist is to allow the fire to spread. You are not helping. And that goes for all of you. Because it wasn't just about CRW. It was about everyone. We have to have each other's backs. We have to. The people that we're fighting, they will tear us apart if they find any crack to exploit. They will tear us apart. We have to be able to fight as a unified front. Because that's what it's going to take. And this isn't over. When this documentary happens, this isn't over. Right? This is not the last thing that you guys are going to hear. And I encourage you, make fucking noise. Not just on the internet. Make fucking noise in the real world. Talk to people. I talk to people regularly about the stickers on my car. I interface with people, a lot of people in my day-to-day life. And any chance I get, hey, yeah, did you know we can 3D print those now? Check out the catalog. I just had one of those moments the other day at a river float. It was awesome. Knowing that I spread the signal to someone, just by word of mouth. Forget the art that I create. Forget the work that I'm doing with this magazine. Forget the Twitter shitposting, that barely gets any numbers, because who gives a shit about what some rabbit thinks on the internet, right? But talking to real people. Strangers. Other human beings. Fellow sailors on spaceship Earth, And doing that is a lot harder. Doing it efficiently, effectively, is a lot harder if the first thing that somebody sees when they arrive into a GunCAD social space is divisiveness and infighting. A call for armistice, not peace. Not we agree that someone was right and someone was wrong. Armistice. Put the fucking guns down. We have bigger things to worry about. If you must hold your firearm, hold it at the people responsible for the current state of affairs. I promise you it's not someone across from you who also prints firearms in opposition to the state. I promise you that is not the person who is uplifting and buttressing the current state of affairs. I promise you. We have to have each other's backs. We have to. This is part of that process. Radical transparency. And I want to practice it. I want to practice it in this effort to create this work, to assist in creating this work, in the effort to create works from it, I want to practice that radical transparency. Talk to me. You want to know what's going on? Talk to me. Ask, and ye shall be answered. Come hang out with us. The moment that we start doing shit, the moment that we start moving, you guys are going to hear about it. You guys are going to see it. If I get invited to any of it, because my position here at the moment is not... Anything that I am personally involved with, you guys will hear about. And in terms of this effort with reason, you guys will hear about it. I'm committed to that, personally. And if you don't believe me, ask Control Pew. Because everything you're about to see, everything you can see here with what I'm showing you is stuff I already showed to him. From the get-go. It's stuff I showed to Lizzie and Spez before it happened. Right? As the meetings were starting, that's what they saw. Why? Because it's important. It's important for me to make sure that you guys know that I'm doing this for the right reasons. Because I believe in it. Because I want to promote it. Because I want to make noise. I want to make change. I want to be a part of this process. I'm not fucking Superman. I can't solve all of your problems for you. But if I can contribute to the process of the solution of those problems, hey man, now we're cooking with oil, right? Now we're cooking with oil. I'm recording this as insurance. Insurance. Because I have a reasonable suspicion that the events of today, partially by my own doing and partially by how these things happen, will eventually come to be known by certain individuals. And my integrity can be impugned on this. So I am only doing this, and I want to be very clear, I am only doing this because Mr. Wilson has demonstrated himself to be incapable of tolerating the fact that other people are observing his behavior from a neutral standpoint. I want to be very clear, that I have a great deal of respect for the accomplishments of Mr. Cody Rutledge Wilson, in the terms of him being a foundational pillar of this community. Were it not for his actions, whatever it is that you believe Cody Wilson's actions to have been, if you believe that he had a part to play here, I have respect for that. That's it. I personally believe, from my personal experience of having encountered this community from the outside, then getting involved into it much later after my antics, that Cody Wilson is a foundational pillar of this community. Okay? If you want to chalk that up to genius, or first mover advantage, or right place, right time, a general savviness for being in the media, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Okay? He will always be Guncat as much as we are Guncat. There's nothing we can do about this. Okay? I do not approve, and I do not condone, and I do publicly reprimand, as I have done multiple times over, many of the actions that Cody Rutledge Wilson has taken over the course of his life and over the course of his membership in this community. Let that be known. Let that be clear. That I do unilaterally condemn his handling of the copyright crisis. I do not approve of his actions in the court of law, as I understand them to have happened, as they have been explained to me. And I am not fond of his prior legal history. Okay? Very clear. I did not go to the city of Washington, D.C. with the express intent, or even a lingering, rearmost desire in the mind, to badmouth Cody Rutledge Wilson to anyone. No one. I didn't go there to badmouth anyone. I went there to pitch a story, to flip footage for a job, and to put the community in front of people who may not be aware, and as I suspected, were not fully aware of the scope of this community. Okay? As it was explained to me by the individuals that I spoke to, who shall remain nameless for the time being, until I am confident that things are moving in a good direction. Which, by that time you will be listening to this. This will not be released until something concrete has happened in either direction. Whether it is happening or it isn't happening, you are going to hear about this at some point, right? But I am recording this the night of, okay, as insurance. Because I know what the internet is like. I've been around the block enough times to know that these things are often necessary, okay? Yes, the topic of Cody Rutledge Wilson came up during my conversation with the Reason Foundation. Yes, it did come up. What was the context of its addition or inclusion into the conversation? Reason, the Reason Foundation, Reason Magazine, Reason TV have not discussed broadly the conversation of 3D printed guns since Cody Rutledge Wilson was the major player in this space. Okay? That is how it was explained to me. That they didn't think that this was a thing. Okay? And then someone within Reason was working on a story to cover the community. Okay? They weren't even aware of the Vice piece, the recent one with PSR talking about the firearm that Mangione used. Okay? That was the impression that I got. They were not aware. I asked the gentleman point blank if he had watched the recent Vice piece, and he said no. So, to my knowledge, the Reason Foundation was not aware of the Vice piece. Okay? They are so far behind the times. Their last interaction with the community was Cody Wilson. Okay? My recommendation to them was, because they asked me what I thought of Cody Wilson. Because I made a face, because they said, well, the last time we talked about the community, your community, was Cody Wilson. And I said, oh, Cody Wilson, right. And they said, well, what do you think of Cody Wilson? And I said, well, it's my understanding that he is a persona non grata in the community. People do not like him. The community is currently against him. Okay? I mentioned that he was embroiled in legal troubles, which is well known and very public. Okay, that it had to do with copyright and the way that DefCat as a company was functioning. Okay, and the services that they were providing. I said that people in the community were upset because they felt that Cody Wilson had taken people's designs and put them behind a paywall, and they didn't like that. Okay, I told them the truth as I saw it. They mentioned that he was involved in the Vanderstock case. And I said, I heard about the Vanderstock case. I'm not really a legal expert. I don't have commentary on this. But I know that the Trump administration is not a friend to us here. That was my position on the matter. Okay? I said that there might be ITAR stuff involved. My last understanding of the various legal dealings that Cody Rutledge Wilson had to do something with ITAR violations. I'm not sure. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not following these cases. I'm doing my own thing in my own life. Okay? That's what I told them. I recommended that they stay away from Cody Wilson, that they ignore anything that Cody Wilson says, that they ignore any of his advances. I feel like Cody Wilson is bad press for the movement and for the community. Okay? If that is a controversial position, then that is the fucking hill I will die on. I don't care. Cody Wilson is bad press. Okay? I don't have the education or the knowledge to speak on his legal troubles. Okay? I don't. I'm not going to comment on them. Anything that I would say here is a repetition of what I said in my article about the Black Flag white paper when it was released. Okay? I think Cody Wilson is bad press. I recommended to Reason that they stay away from him. That is all that was said. They informed me that they were in contact with other people in this community, who at this moment I do not feel I am at the liberty of naming. And I said, oh, that's very good. I would like to be a part of this. I have here something that I think you would consider to be valuable, and I would like to trade it for a job. And that was it. That was what happened. I exchanged footage. I brought them a gift. And that was it. Nothing else happened. Matter of fact, we were scheduled to talk for an hour, and the meeting was over in 20 minutes. Okay? I spoke to 2 people. We had a conversation, a very productive conversation. They enjoyed the gift. We traded notes. I explained some things. I handed over the footage. Done and done. That was it. They had a very cool office. I liked it. It's very nicely decorated. I liked their boardroom. They had a very nice wooden sculpture in the conference room where we spoke. It was very pretty. I liked it. I didn't go there to badmouth anyone. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even go there to push me. I went there to push the community. My emphasis was at all times on the community, on the movement, on the cause. This is the quintessential libertarian position. There is a community that will rally behind you. Champion their cause. There are good people doing good work here. You should be covering this. This is good for the movement. We can stick it to the fascists. I'm going to start saying this. I'm going to make this normal. Okay? But my final statement on this issue is Giffords delenda est.